The planet Rethon hung silently in the darkness of deep space. Its surface was dotted with mining cities, their towers gleaming under the light of Rethon's 3 suns. But the shine was false. Beneath the glittering walls, the people lived in chains. The alien coalition that controlled Rethon had made sure of it. No one dared challenge their authority. No one, except perhaps the humans. Commander Kale stood on the bridge of the stealth warship Lightning Spear, staring at the holographic projection of Rethon below. He had seen many worlds in his time, worlds in turmoil, worlds under the thumb of tyrants, but this one was different. Rethon was quiet, too quiet. That made it dangerous. Kale's team moved like a well-oiled machine around him. Sensors hummed softly, data flickering across multiple screens. Lieutenant Mara, his second-in-command, reported on the alien patrols. "We have 4 garrison ships orbiting Rethon, Commander. Patrol drones are in a regular rotation, but they are predictable. Their weapons are advanced, but they are slow to react." Kyle nodded. He liked predictable. Predictable made humans dangerous. The humans aboard Lightning Spear were an unusual crew. They were not the largest, not the most heavily armed, and certainly not the most numerous. But they had something the aliens underestimated: ingenuity. Humans could adapt, humans could improvise, and humans could strike where others thought they were powerless. Kale turned from the hologram to look at his crew. "This is not going to be easy," he said. "The aliens think they are untouchable. They think Rethon is theirs forever. We will show them that they are wrong." Mara smiled faintly. "They will never see us coming, Commander." Kyle allowed himself a small smile. That was the first step. Confidence. In orbit above Rethon, the Lightning Spear drifted silently. It was designed to be invisible to standard detection systems. Its black hull reflected nothing, absorbed energy, and emitted almost no signature. But invisibility alone was not enough. The humans needed to understand their enemy fully before striking. Kale activated a secure comm channel. "Prepare the reconnaissance drones. I want a complete scan of the garrison. Look for weaknesses, anything. We strike once we know the enemy better than they know themselves." The drones launched, tiny specks against the vastness of space. They zipped through the alien patrols like insects, slipping past shields, mapping every turret, every defensive barrier, every weapon emplacement. The aliens were arrogant. They believed that no other civilization could reach Rethon. They had fortified the planet, built their defenses, and laughed at the thought of resistance. And that arrogance would be their undoing. Hours passed. The crew studied the data, marking patrol routes, shield strengths, and supply lines. The humans worked quickly, efficiently, without wasted motion. Every member of the crew knew their role. Every calculation, every observation was a step closer to action. Finally, Kale spoke. "We have what we need. It's time to plan our approach. We will not hit them all at once. That would be suicide. We will strike smart, fast, and where it hurts the most." Mara tapped her fingers on the console. "We could start by cutting off their communications. Make them blind. Confuse them." "Exactly," Kale said. "Then, while they are distracted, we free the oppressed population. They are not soldiers, but they will fight for their freedom if given the chance, and that will create chaos the aliens cannot control." The crew nodded. Every human aboard Lightning Spear understood the plan. It was dangerous. It was bold. But it was exactly what humans did best. Meanwhile, on the surface of Rethon, the alien commanders were celebrating. In the central control tower of the mining capital, the alien General Draxel stood tall, his many arms adjusting the controls of his holomap. He was proud of his garrison. He believed nothing could reach them. "The humans?" one of his officers asked, a hint of doubt in his voice. "Do you really think they could interfere here?" Draxel laughed, a deep vibrating sound. "Humans, mere insects. They are clever, yes, but weak. They are scattered, disorganized, and far from their home. No army of theirs could reach Rethon without being crushed." The officer nodded, reassured. Around them, the alien garrison bustled, confident and unafraid. Back aboard the Lightning Spear, Kale was studying the planet with his eyes, not just with sensors. He could see the mines, the transport ships, and the alien garrisons. He could imagine the streets filled with terrified workers, the guards patrolling in predictable patterns. And he could see what the aliens could not: opportunity. Kale turned to Mara. "We hit them at night in 2 of the mining zones. We disable communications, then send in the strike teams. Small units first, fast, precise, and gone before the enemy knows what hit them. Mara nodded. And the natives? They are part of the plan, Kale said. They have been enslaved for too long. When they see a chance to fight for themselves, they will take it. Fear keeps them quiet now, but courage is contagious. One spark and it spreads quickly. The crew began preparations. Weapons were checked, stealth suits calibrated, drones loaded with EMP charges. Each human knew the stakes. Each human knew failure could mean death. But fear was not an option. Humans were not slaves to fear. They acted even in the darkest situations, and that made them unpredictable. As night fell on Rethon, a strange silence blanketed the planet. The alien patrols continued their rounds, but the humans watched from orbit, ready. The first phase of the plan was about to begin. Kale gathered his strike team in the ready room. They were a small group, chosen for skill, courage, and adaptability. Listen carefully, he said. We are about to enter enemy territory. The aliens think they are untouchable. They think no one will come. We will show them that they are wrong. Move fast, strike hard, and trust each other. Lives depend on it. No one spoke. Words were unnecessary. They had trained for this. They had rehearsed every scenario. And most importantly, they had each other. The first skimmers launched from the lightning spear, silent and swift. The crew watched as the small ships disappeared into the night, invisible to the alien sensors. Kyle held his breath. This was the moment when planning became action. On the surface, the first signs of human presence were barely noticeable. Tiny sparks of light, brief flashes, and then silence. The aliens dismissed them as minor glitches. But Kale knew better. Every small strike was a piece of the larger puzzle. Every move was calculated to destabilize the alien confidence. Hours passed. The humans struck and vanished, leaving confusion and fear in their wake. The aliens, proud and arrogant, were beginning to sense something unusual. Systems malfunctioned. Communications faltered. Patrols were disrupted. The first cracks were appearing in the alien armor of certainty. In orbit, Kyle monitored every movement. Phase 1 complete, he said quietly. The enemy is confused. Their reaction is slow. Phase 2 begins soon. We liberate the workers. The humans were ready. They had studied the enemy, predicted their behavior, and prepared for every contingency. And yet Kale knew the hardest part was still ahead. Taking action against a larger, stronger enemy was never easy. But humans had a way of turning impossibility into opportunity. Meanwhile, the aliens argued among themselves. Draxel stomped his many legs across the floor, frustrated. How is this possible? He demanded. No one should be able to penetrate our systems. An officer hesitated. Sir, perhaps... It is humans. Draxel laughed bitterly. Humans, they are insects. Small, weak, and easily crushed. Do not give them more credit than they deserve. They cannot reach us here. They are far from home. They cannot strike like this, but even as he spoke, the humans were striking again. Small teams had already begun liberating the enslaved population. Workers hid in shadows, unsure at first, but then courage sparked. Seeing humans in action, acting with speed and precision, the natives realized freedom was possible. The first cries of hope echoed through the tunnels of the mining cities. The aliens, unprepared for such defiance, scrambled to respond. Their confidence wavered. Their arrogance faltered. Cal watched the developments with quiet satisfaction. This is only the beginning, he said. They will learn quickly that humans are not predictable. Humans are lightning in the darkness. And tonight, Rethon will see that. The strike teams moved with precision, freeing groups of workers, sabotaging weapons, and disappearing before the aliens could retaliate. The streets, once silent, now held a sense of anticipation. Something had changed. Something powerful had arrived. By the time the first phase of action was complete, Rethon was no longer just a planet under alien control. It was a place where hope had begun to burn, where fear was being replaced by courage, and where humans had shown their first sparks of unstoppable power. Kale looked out into space, at the stars beyond. They think no one will come, he said softly. But they are wrong. We are here, and we will not stop. The lightning spear drifted silently in orbit, waiting for the next phase. Below, chaos began to stir in the mining cities, and somewhere in the alien garrisons, doubt crept in where arrogance had once stood. For the first time, the aliens of Rethon knew that humanity had arrived, and they were lightning fast. The sun had set over Rethon's mining cities, leaving the planet bathed in darkness. But darkness did not mean silence. It was alive with movement, quiet sparks of rebellion and the soft hum of human technology. From orbit, the lightning spear observed the planet like a guardian in the night. Commander Kale and his crew watched the results of their first strikes with careful satisfaction. The alien garrison was already beginning to feel the effects of the humans' sudden and precise attacks. Communications were disrupted, patrols confused, and minor defenses destroyed. The aliens had thought themselves untouchable. They had believed no one could challenge their authority. But now small fires of resistance were spreading across the surface. "Commander," Mara said, her fingers moving over the control panel. "The patrol drones are reacting slower than expected. Our small teams are causing chaos among them. Even minor sabotage is making the aliens second-guess their routines." Kyle nodded. "That's exactly what we wanted. Confusion is a weapon. We are giving the natives a chance to act. Once they realize they are not alone, courage spreads faster than fear." Below, the first group of workers huddled together in the shadows of a mining tunnel. They had heard rumors of humans arriving, but they had never seen one. Now figures in sleek black stealth suits moved like shadows, disabling guards silently and freeing prisoners. The workers watched in disbelief as the humans acted without hesitation, without fear. One of the workers, a young man named Taryn, whispered, "Are they really here to help us?" An older woman, steady and practical, nodded slowly. "I think they are, and I think it is time we stop being afraid." The humans' first team had targeted the main communications hub of the mining city. They worked quickly, placing devices that would temporarily block transmissions and scramble sensors. Within minutes, the hub went dark. Patrols stopped mid-route, unsure of where to go. Guards reported strange flashes and noises that made no sense. Panic began to ripple through the garrison. Kale monitored every move. "Phase 2 begins," he said. "Strike teams on the ground move to free the next groups. Keep communications off. We want the aliens disoriented before they realize the scale of our operation." The human team split into several units, moving across the planet with speed and precision. They were shadows in the darkness, slipping past turrets, bypassing laser grids, and leaving no trace of their presence. It was a dangerous mission, but one that humans excelled at. Predictable strategies might work for the aliens, but humans thrived on unpredictability. In one mining sector, Mara led a small squad to liberate a group of enslaved workers. The humans disabled the guards silently, their movements coordinated as if they had rehearsed the entire sequence 1,000 times. When the workers saw them, hope sparked in their eyes. "Follow us," Mara said calmly. "You are free now. Move quickly." The workers hesitated for a moment, fear holding them back. But seeing humans act without hesitation, their courage seemed contagious. They followed, moving through hidden tunnels and avoiding patrols that were already confused by earlier sabotage. Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, Kale led another team toward a heavily guarded transport depot. Their goal was to seize vehicles that could help evacuate and protect the freed workers. Kale's squad moved with precision, disabling alarms and taking control of the vehicles before the aliens even realized what was happening. By now, the aliens were beginning to panic. General Draxel stomped through the central command tower, his many arms clattering against consoles in frustration. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "We should have detected them. They cannot be here." An officer hesitated. "Sir, our sensors indicate small units infiltrating multiple areas simultaneously. They appear coordinated. And the workers, some are resisting now. They are fighting back," Draxel growled, a vibration that echoed through the tower. "Impossible. Humans are weak. They are scattered and far from their home, yet they strike with precision, like a storm." The humans were already striking the next target. Using the vehicles they had captured, Kale's team helped the workers escape from the mining zones. The workers, once enslaved and fearful, now felt a surge of hope. For the first time, they realized that freedom was possible, and when hope sparks, it spreads faster than fire. Back in orbit, Mara monitored the situation. "Commander, the aliens are dividing their forces. Some patrols are moving toward the sabotage sites, while others are trying to contain the escaping workers. They are reacting, but too late. Their movements are slow, disorganized." Kale's eyes narrowed. "Perfect. We want them divided, disorganized. That makes them easier to handle in the next phase." Humans don't need numbers when strategy is on our side. In the mining tunnels, Terran and the other workers moved with the humans' guidance. They were learning quickly, following orders and gaining confidence. Kyle had predicted this. When oppressed populations see the possibility of freedom, they act. They fight back, and humans knew how to ignite that spark. Suddenly, alarms blared in one of the alien towers. A group of patrols had discovered the sabotage in the communications hub. The aliens began to organize a counterattack, but it was too late. Their systems were compromised, their patrols confused, and their confidence shattered. Kale ordered the next wave of attacks. Strike teams hit the weapon depots, disable their turrets, make sure they cannot regain control. The faster we act, the more chaos we create. The humans moved like lightning. They struck and disappeared, leaving alien patrols bewildered. The aliens had never faced an enemy like this. Fast, precise, and unpredictable. They had no training for humans, no strategies to counter them. And in the darkness of the night, humans became unstoppable. Meanwhile, in the city's central square, the workers began to organize themselves. Terran helped lead a small group, inspired by the humans around them. They moved through the streets, taking control of small checkpoints, freeing others and spreading the message. Humans are here. We are free. The aliens were unprepared for this. Their garrison was strong, but their strength relied on fear and control. When the population saw humans act without fear, their power began to crumble. Panic spread faster than any weapon. Draxel's frustration grew. We cannot let this continue. Find them, destroy them. But even as he shouted, humans were already hitting the next target. Small skimmers appeared from shadows, carrying more strike teams and supplies for the workers. Every move was calculated, every strike designed to maximize confusion. Kyle watched as the freed workers began taking simple actions to help themselves and each other. This is working, he said quietly. Courage spreads faster than fear. Once they see humans fight for them, they fight for themselves. The night was alive with activity. Explosions were minimal, precise, and targeted. No unnecessary destruction. No unnecessary risk. Every move was part of a larger plan, and with each passing hour, the aliens' confidence eroded. By dawn, the humans had achieved their main objectives for the night. Communications were disrupted, patrols were confused, and hundreds of workers had been freed. The aliens were left reeling, their control over Rethon slipping through their grasp like sand through fingers. Kale gathered his team in the command room aboard the Lightning Spear. Phase 2 is complete, he said. The aliens are disoriented. The workers are free and beginning to fight for themselves. This is exactly what we hoped for. Mara smiled, though fatigue was visible on her face. They think they are untouchable. But we showed them otherwise, Kale nodded. And this is only the beginning. Tomorrow we expand our efforts, hit their supply lines, cut off reinforcements, and show them that humans do not act like any enemy they have faced before. They underestimate us at their peril. The humans worked through the night to analyze the results of their strikes. Each success was studied, every minor failure corrected. They were learning, adapting, and preparing for the next wave. And somewhere deep in the alien garrison, fear had begun to take root. By mid-morning, Rethon was stirring with change. Workers cautiously returned to the streets, some carrying supplies, others helping the wounded. The humans moved among them, guiding, protecting, and inspiring. For the first time in decades, the people of Rethon felt hope. Kale looked out at the planet from orbit. They think no one will come, he said softly. But we are here, and lightning does not strike once. It strikes until the storm ends. Even as he spoke, the next phase of human operations was being prepared. Drones would continue to disrupt alien communications, strike teams would move deeper into the garrison, and the freed workers would grow bolder with each passing hour. The aliens had underestimated humans. That mistake would cost them dearly. In the alien command tower, Draxel paced. "They are ghosts," he roared. "How can this be happening? Humans should not be able to strike like this. They are not soldiers, they are insects." An officer hesitated. "Sir, perhaps they are more than insects. Their precision, their speed, their strategy." Draxel's many eyes glared at the officer. "No, humans are nothing. And yet they move like fire, like lightning. Prepare all units. Hunt them down!" But Kale knew their words. They were too late. The humans were already everywhere the aliens feared, striking, disappearing, and leaving chaos behind. The night had been won. The first spark of resistance ignited, and the oppressed population was beginning to fight for themselves. Rethon's skies were alive with movement. The darkness of the previous night had given way to a tense dawn, and the alien garrison was scrambling. Reports came in from all directions. Patrols disrupted, weapon depots disabled, workers escaping in organized groups. Panic was spreading like wildfire. Commander Kale observed everything from the bridge of the lightning spear. His eyes scanned the holographic display of Rethon, noting the alien movements and the paths of the freed workers. "They think they can regroup," he muttered. "They think they can contain us." "They are wrong." Mara stood beside him. "The workers are already taking control of some sectors. They are moving quickly. If we keep the pressure on, the aliens will have no chance to stabilize." Kale nodded. "Phase 3 begins. We bring in the fleet." Until now, the humans had relied on small strike teams and stealth technology to sow confusion, but the aliens had underestimated the speed and scale of human response. The main fleet of human ships, previously hidden behind a nearby asteroid belt, emerged like a storm breaking across the horizon. On the surface, alien commanders were stunned. General Draxel stared at the readings, unable to comprehend the sudden appearance of a full human fleet. "Impossible!" he roared. "They cannot be here. How can so many humans arrive at once?" Kale smiled grimly as the first of the human warships moved into orbit. They were sleek, fast, and armed with weapons the aliens had never seen. Missile pods, energy cannons, and advanced shielding allowed the humans to strike without fear of immediate retaliation. But Kale had no intention of relying solely on firepower. "Communications disrupted?" he asked Mara. "Completely," she replied. "The aliens cannot coordinate. Their sensors are still compromised. They have no idea where the majority of our forces are." "Good," Kyle said. "Prepare the orbital strike teams. Focus on key installations. The main weapons depot, command centers, and supply hubs. Hit hard, hit fast, and disappear before they can respond." On the ground, the freed workers were preparing to resist the remaining alien patrols. They were no longer fearful. Confidence had replaced terror, and courage had replaced doubt. Terran, now a young leader among them, coordinated a group of miners to sabotage alien vehicles and block key roads. "They can't reach us now," Terran said, nodding to the others. "We fight together. Humans showed us we can." The aliens, however, were not yet defeated. Draxel rallied his forces, sending reinforcements to key locations and attempting to coordinate a counterattack. But the humans had anticipated this. Kale had studied every possible alien tactic, and the humans were already in position to exploit every weakness. The first orbital strike hit the alien weapons depot. Missiles tore through armor plating, energy beams fried turrets, and explosions echoed across the mining valleys. Panic erupted among the aliens. Guards abandoned their posts, soldiers retreated in confusion, and the command network struggled to maintain control. On the ground, Kyle led a strike team to infiltrate the main command center of the garrison. They moved through shadowed corridors, avoiding patrols and disabling alarms as they went. Every step was precise, every action calculated. Humans were not just fighters. They were strategists, engineers, and improvisers all at once. When Kale's team reached the command center, they faced a heavy alien contingent. But the humans were ready. Energy rifles and precision explosives quickly neutralized the guards. Within minutes, the control systems were under human authority. Alarms ceased, communications were jammed, and alien reinforcements were misdirected. From orbit, Mara guided the strike. "Commander, the garrison is disoriented. Their units are moving in all directions, no coordination. Now is the time to push the final wave," Kyle nodded. "All teams advance. Support the workers. Show the aliens that resistance is useless." The humans and freed workers moved together, a coordinated force striking with speed and precision. Mines were rigged to disable alien vehicles. Barricades were set up to funnel patrols into ambushes, and communication points were destroyed. Chaos reigned, and the aliens could do nothing to regain control. In the command tower, Draxel's frustration turned to rage. "Stop them," he bellowed. "Do not let these insects destroy everything we built. Attack from all angles. Leave nothing alive." But his orders were meaningless. The humans had already predicted his moves. Every reinforcement's path was blocked or neutralized before they arrived. Every attack was met with counterstrikes the aliens could not anticipate. Kyle moved through the corridors of the command center, ensuring systems were secured and no alien forces could regroup. This is what I warned them about, he said quietly. Humans strike like lightning, fast, precise, and unstoppable. Outside, the workers fought with new courage. Miners and technicians, once enslaved and fearful, now wielded weapons and tools as instruments of liberation. They coordinated with the human strike teams, following precise instructions and acting with bravery they did not know they possessed. Terran led a group of workers to block the main road to the mining capital. Using heavy machinery and controlled explosives, they created obstacles that alien reinforcements could not pass. The aliens were trapped, confused, and terrified. Every attempt to regroup was met with unexpected resistance. In orbit, the human fleet continued to dominate. Ships swooped down, striking alien forces from above, then retreating before counterattacks could be organized. Their speed and precision were unmatched. Even the most advanced alien weapons struggled to keep up. Mara reported, "Commander, the aliens are retreating toward the secondary command outpost. They are in full panic." Kale's eyes narrowed. "Good, do not let them escape. All units converge on the secondary outpost. Block their retreat. Ensure this is a complete victory." On the planet's surface, the freed workers cheered as alien patrols fled or surrendered. They had seen the humans in action, had fought alongside them, and had gained confidence in their own strength. Hope had become courage, and courage had become action. In the alien command outpost, the last organized resistance tried to hold ground. Draxel barked orders, but his voice was drowned by the sound of explosions and gunfire. Humans struck with precision, hitting every weak point, leaving no escape routes. Kale's team entered the outpost, disabling turrets and clearing corridors. The aliens were no match for the humans' coordination, speed, and ingenuity. Every movement, every decision was calculated, and the aliens could not adapt fast enough. Finally, the main alien commander fell. The resistance collapsed. Remaining soldiers either surrendered or fled into the wilderness. The planet that had been under alien control for decades was now free. Kyle stood in the control room of the outpost, looking over the maps of Rethon. "It is done," he said quietly. "The planet is liberated. The aliens are defeated." Mara approached, a faint smile on her face. "They never expected humans to strike like this. They underestimated us." Kyle nodded. "And they will never forget it. Humanity is not just strength or numbers. We are strategy, courage, and the will to act. That is what makes us unstoppable." On the surface, the freed workers began rebuilding. Miners returned to their work, but now on their own terms. The cities, once silent under fear, were alive with energy, hope, and determination. Humans moved among them, helping, guiding, and ensuring the aliens could not regain control. Terran looked at the humans and said, "We thought no one would come, but you did. You came like lightning and you gave us freedom." Kyle smiled. "We will always come where help is needed. Humanity does not wait, we act." In orbit, the human fleet prepared to leave. Rethon was safe, but the galaxy was vast. Oppression and tyranny existed in many corners, and humans had made it clear that they would not be ignored. As the ships disappeared into the stars, the message was clear. Where humans appear, change follows. They strike fast, strike hard, and strike with purpose. The aliens of Rethon would remember this day forever. And across the galaxy, those who thought humanity could be ignored began to rethink their assumptions. Humans were not just another species, they were a force that arrived like lightning, precise, unstoppable, and full of courage. Kale stood on the bridge of the lightning spear, looking at the stars. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The galaxy will see that we are not to be underestimated. Freedom is worth fighting for, and humans will always fight for it." The crew nodded. They knew the truth of their commander's words. They had struck fear into the hearts of the oppressors, inspired hope in the oppressed, and proven that human ingenuity, courage, and teamwork were unmatched. Rethon was free, and humanity had arrived like lightning. The first light of Rethon's suns broke over the horizon, bathing the mining cities in warm gold. Where there had been fear and oppression, there was now movement, life, and hope. Commander Kale stood on a small observation platform, watching the streets below. Workers who had once been enslaved moved with confidence, rebuilding their lives and helping one another. The alien garrison had been defeated, their command structures dismantled, and their troops scattered. Small pockets of resistance remained, but the humans had ensured these would be easily contained. Kale knew that the victory was not just in weapons or tactics, it was in the people. The oppressed were no longer afraid, and that would change the planet forever. Lieutenant Mara joined him carrying a datapad with the latest reports. Commander, the remaining alien units are surrendering or fleeing into the wastelands. The workers are already taking control of key facilities. Their morale is high. They're organizing themselves to defend the cities. Kyle nodded. Good, that is exactly what we hoped for. We did not come only to fight. We came to empower them. Freedom is more than defeating an enemy. It is giving people the chance to stand on their own. On the streets below, Terran led a group of miners toward the central square. Their movements were confident and purposeful. Where fear had once dictated every step, courage now guided them. They carried supplies, helped rebuild infrastructure, and even organized volunteer patrols to keep the remaining alien stragglers from causing harm. A small group of human strike teams moved among them, giving advice, teaching defensive techniques, and repairing critical machinery. Even the simplest acts, opening gates, clearing rubble, repairing water pumps, were enough to inspire hope. The humans had not only liberated the planet, they had given the people the tools to sustain that freedom. Meanwhile, in orbit, the lightning spear and the accompanying human fleet maintained a vigilant watch. Kale knew that the galaxy was vast and threats were never far. But here, for the first time in decades, there was peace, and that peace had been earned through strategy, courage, and action. Kale turned to Mara. The aliens thought humanity could be ignored. That was their first mistake. Their second was believing that fear alone could control a population. And their final mistake was underestimating what humans are capable of. Mara smiled. They learned the hard way. But the people below are the real proof. They saw what courage looks like, and they are now willing to fight for themselves. On the surface, Terran addressed a gathering of workers in the central square. We have been free for only a short time, he said, voice echoing through the plaza. But humans showed us that freedom is possible. Now it is our turn to protect it. We will guard our cities, help each other, and ensure that no alien ever enslaves us again. Cheers rose from the crowd. The sound was new to Rethon, hopeful, proud, and filled with life. Humans had sparked this courage, but now it belonged to the people themselves. Kale watched silently, a sense of satisfaction washing over him. This is why we fight, he said softly. Not for glory, not for conquest, but so that others may live free. And humans will always fight for freedom wherever it is denied. In the alien remnants of the garrison, confusion and despair reigned. Draxel had been captured during the last strike. The remaining officers fled, carrying news of the human fleet's overwhelming power. Alien civilizations across the nearby systems would hear of this victory soon. The message was clear. Humanity had arrived, and they were unstoppable. From the observation platform, Kale looked beyond Rethon. The stars stretched endlessly in all directions. Many worlds were still under oppression, many civilizations still struggling against tyrants, but humanity had made its first mark in this sector. Other systems would watch, learn, and, in some cases, fear what humans could achieve. Mara joined him again, gazing at the distant stars. Do you think the galaxy is ready for humanity? She asked. Kale shook his head. The galaxy has no choice. They will meet us sooner or later, and when they do, they will see what humans are capable of. Courage, strategy, and the willingness to act. That combination cannot be ignored. Below, the workers continued their efforts. Teams organized to rebuild the mine safely. Supply lines were restored and infrastructure repairs began in earnest. Humans helped train the natives in advanced techniques, teaching them not only how to defend themselves but also how to govern effectively. Kyle knew that Rethon could now sustain its own defense. The humans would not stay forever, but the seeds of freedom had been planted firmly. The workers, once powerless, now held the keys to their future. In a quiet moment, Kale walked among the freed people. Children ran through the streets, laughing and playing. Adults carried supplies, worked on repairs, and helped the injured. The sense of hope and determination was tangible. Humans had given them freedom, but the people of Rethon were taking it further. They were making it their own. Terran approached Kale. Commander, he said, we are grateful. You and your people saved us. We thought no one would ever come. But you came like lightning, and now we have a future. Kale placed a hand on Terran's shoulder. Remember this, Terran. Courage is contagious. You now have the power to inspire others. Protect your people. Teach them to act with honor and never forget what it means to be free. Terran nodded, determination shining in his eyes. We won't forget. We'll make sure Rethon remains free. In orbit, Kale gave the order for the human fleet to begin departure. The planet was secure and the humans' role as liberators had been fulfilled. The fleet moved silently into the void, leaving behind a world forever changed. Kale remained on the bridge of the lightning spear, reflecting on the mission. This was more than a battle, he said to Mara. It was a statement. Humanity does not arrive quietly. We act, we fight, we inspire. And wherever there is oppression, we will appear like lightning. Mara smiled. And the people below have learned that lesson well. They will remember it. They will carry it forward. Across the galaxy, word of Rethon's liberation began to spread. Alien leaders took notice. Many had dismissed humanity as insignificant, a small species far from the centers of galactic power. But now those assumptions were shattered. Humans were not to be underestimated. Their courage, ingenuity, and willingness to act made them a force unlike any other. On Rethon, the first council of freed leaders met in the central square. Workers, miners, and technicians gathered to discuss the future. The humans provided guidance, ensuring the people could organize themselves without external control. Decisions were made collaboratively. Plans were drawn for defense, agriculture, and infrastructure repair. The planet was taking its first steps towards self-governance. Kale watched from a distance, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. Humans had arrived not to conquer but to empower. They had shown the galaxy what could be achieved when courage and strategy combined with compassion. As the day progressed, the aliens who had survived the defeat fled toward distant systems. Their reports of the human fleet and the liberation of Rethon would spread quickly. The message was simple. Humans act with speed, precision, and purpose. They strike when least expected, and their presence changes everything. Kyle turned to Mara. We've made an impact here, but our work is never done. The galaxy is vast and oppression exists in many corners. Wherever help is needed, humans will go. Wherever courage is required, we will provide it. Mara nodded. Then let's make sure the galaxy never forgets what humans can do. The freed people of Rethon began the slow, careful process of rebuilding. The mines were cleared, repairs were made, and systems restored. Every step forward was a victory, and every action was a reminder of the humans who had given them a chance to rise. Children played in the streets, laughter replacing the silence of fear. Adults worked together, learning to organize and protect their communities. And above them, the stars reminded them that the galaxy was full of wonders and dangers, but also full of allies, if one had courage to act. Kale walked to the edge of the observation platform one last time. The planet below shimmered with life and hope. He knew that Rethon's liberation was only one story among many. Across the stars, humans would continue to arrive, quietly at first, then like a storm of lightning. Swift, unstoppable, and full of purpose. Terran approached Kale one last time. Thank you, he said simply. You've shown us what it means to be free. We will carry this forward. We will protect our world and our people. We won't let you or the humans down, Kale smiled. Freedom is a gift, Terran, but it is also a responsibility. Protect it, nurture it, and teach others to do the same. Humanity will always act where courage is needed, but the future belongs to those who choose to defend it. As the lightning spear and the rest of the human fleet disappeared into the void of space, Rethon was no longer a planet of fear. It was a symbol, a beacon for the oppressed and a warning to those who would use power to control others. Humanity had arrived like lightning and the galaxy had taken notice. Kale looked at Mara one last time. The galaxy is vast, he said, but wherever we are needed we will appear, always. And humanity will continue to show that courage, ingenuity, and action can change everything. Mara nodded. Then let's make sure they remember it. The suns of Rethon shone brighter than ever. The streets below buzzed with life, rebuilding, and hope. And somewhere,